How you doing?
Oh, doing pretty good, pretty good.
Oh, oh,
Doing a
oh. See, I'm
it's
seeing that you're packing up, going back to going somewhere.
that's my it's like what I set up for when I audition for roles.
Oh,
I'll put a camera on top of that
oh,
so I can have this wall in the background.
oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
that's yeah, that's kind of yeah, those are my bags. I've had them for a while since I got here. I got here in April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where exactly are you right now?
I am in Oklahoma, sir.
Oh, wow, wow, beautiful. Are you in your house or is it like somewhere you're shooting?
Yeah, I'm filming out here in Oklahoma, and
Mm.
they got me an apartment out here.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons I was excited to talk to you. You're you're starring in the movie that has been released recently, which is Thunderbird, which is a very interesting and a great movie. I talked to the director and Natalie Brown, and it was a pleasure. And I know that they have had an incredible experience on that set, and I know that we talked a lot about the movie with the director, and we talked. One of the many subjects was the representation and the importance of being respectful to the culture of the natives in this movie, and the length he went to make it matter. And I was wondering, you have been playing, you have been an actor for over I mean, since 2003, am I right?
Yes, give or
Yeah,
take. Yeah, since Dreamkeeper, that
yeah,
was the first thing I did. Yes, yes, that was
yeah,
since 2003.
yeah. And I was wondering, I was thinking about this because you must have seen that representation kind of shift and change throughout your career, and see how characters are portrayed. Have you seen a big shift, or is it more progressive? And now that you're looking back at the things you've done, something that is really power it has been really um how could I say that, something that has happened kind of like at some point in your career, like in the 2000s, or something like that.
Yes, I would say there's been a definite shift.
Mm,
Um, Directors are more inclusive in what's called spiritual protocol.
mm,
So I've had I've done one project called Diablo where the director had a meeting with us. It's like, okay, we're about to film a sweat lodge scene.
mm.
So what do I need to do? How do I need to approach this?
Okay.
And so we had a dialogue about that, which is nice. And I suppose I've done another project where they just put peacock feathers in my hair, and there was a part in my career where I was too shy to speak up about that kind of thing. And that's we get that from residential school. We get too shy to say a thing. But now it's different now. I'd say there's warmth.
Mm,
There's definite warmth in the dialogue. There's definite respect and exchange of respect with how we're approaching um, representation
mm,
among my people. It's yeah, there's a warmth there that I've felt, especially with yeah, with the more recent stuff I've done. There's been a dialogue and something that I've appreciated very much.
mm,
And there's been advisors on set of the tribe. There's been advisors and and as an actor working with advisors of another tribe, there's also there's an exchange there. There's always an exchange. I do my best to offer tobacco if it's an elder, and so there's definite spiritual protocol
Mm.
um, amongst the advisors, the people, you know, it'll be of the tribe. Um, and yeah, I can only describe it as warmth.
Mm.
There's a definite warmth and hospitality, and you're among their families, and they welcome you. And yeah, I would definitely call it a shift in
Mm.
terms of non-natives telling native stories, and they're saying, well, this is how you would say it, this is how you're gonna react, this is how. And I would say there's more of a collaboration now, and I like I really love where it's headed. And I myself am in I've been writing and directing myself. So I'm I'm loving where my directing career is headed.
Wow.
It's yeah, it's because now a director, actor, writer, um, telling my own stories. I don't have to have this advisor. I'll I am the advisor, director, actor as well. So it fills my heart to, because there are just countless stories than what's been told,
Mm.
than what's being told over and over. So there's a lot of us that have a lot of stories, and I'm this shift is going for what's going to happen is I'm going to be the one in the baseball cap and the
Mm.
glasses behind the camera. You know, with they usually have a little monitor like a pad,
Yeah.
and then they're looking at the so. And I've been around plenty of directors where I know, okay, this is how we're going to block it, and then I can talk to the actors, this is going to be your mark right here, and this is kind of the tone that I'm that I've we'll get a sense of the tone. And so I'm now listening directors, like I've been a fly on the wall, like a lot of sets. It's
Mm.
been like free film school. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm standing there, and then I see how they do it, and then okay, and then I have a journal, I write it all down. And then I did do a short film on my in my community that I wasn't planning for, I wasn't ready for. And yeah, I had fun doing that. I taught kids about what we were doing.
Oh.
About I Yeah, I
And
it
how is it working
was.
with kid actors from your tribe? How was it? Because I know that kid actors can be difficult to work with because they are kids.
Oh, this is the thing. They were pros,
Mm.
because I taught them all of the good ways of being an actor,
Mm.
and I also taught them the bad ways of being an actor. Like, this is, you know, I taught them how to be professional. I taught them you know, what we don't like as directors. And then I told them not just what we don't like, because you can't go off of what we don't like. I told them on what we prefer, and talk to them volume wise, how to listen to each other. And yeah, that was a life changing experience for me. I'm like, wow, I'm a director, because I'm getting kids, and they weren't, and you would think they're difficult, but I was nothing but proud. We had one kid that was super shy. He started super shy, and then he went from being this loud little
Wow.
character in the thing to shouting on the bus. And I was, oh wait, yeah. And now my heart and soul is going in that direction as well.
Mm.
And you're asking me about this shift, and so I'm going to tell you I'm part of this shift. I'm directing now. I'm super excited.
Wow.
And it's so funny because the producer of Thunderbird, him and I are going to start working together, and
Wow.
we're just going to start with shorts, and just kind of, but with me at the director front. And just for fun, like we literally we I started doing working with kids just for fun. And then, well, my that's not what occurred was my cousin is a teacher in our community, and she's like a sister type. Her name is Dorothy Johnson, and she said I came home, and she's like, just the man I wanted to see. Just come and talk to our kids. And she says I'm doing like film stuff with them on an iPad, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And I was like, okay. And then and then within that week time frame that I was there, we adapted a page and a half script, and then we filmed it, and then they screened it. And then it was about a bear versus coyote. Bear wanted it to be dark all the time, and coyote wanted it to be light all the time. And so I had two actors, two boys and two girls, and they well, first it was written bear versus coyote, so we just rewrote it, two bears and two coyotes. And yeah, and then we had a lot of fun. I could not believe how life changing it was for me, how life altering, I should say. Like, wow, I had fun directing these kids, and they had fun learning everything that I've learned since 2003. And then we did a second one called Making a Warrior, and that time I had 8 actors. Yeah, the Shire ones decided, well, maybe I should give it a try. So then I had 8 actors, and now we have I'm in the middle right now of 16 actors.
Mm.
Um, so I'm in the middle of kind of getting that together with because they're growing up so fast. Oh my God. They went from being these kids to cool, like cool now. They're at that cool part in their
Yeah.
the kind of the chapters. So I'm like, oh my God, they're growing up too fast. We have to do this film. And yeah, Michael Morrison, the producer of Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Well, I got him in as kind of like a co-instructor while we were doing Zoom sessions. Because of COVID, I couldn't go back with the kids and be on the reserve with them and then help tell a story. I was like, well, the best thing we could do is, at least get a script developed. So I didn't know what we were going to write, but it was exciting too, because I got on Zoom with the kids, and there was like 16 of them, and I was so happy to see them. I was a little sad that I couldn't be in the room, but I just had to make the best of it.
Wow.
And I told the kids, well, we have a blank canvas for this next one, and there's some confusion. They were like, what's a I was like, does anyone know what a blank canvas is? And they were like, no. One hand went up. He was like, oh. And I was like, yeah, it means we get to paint what we want. Like, yeah, you guys get to paint what you want. So what do you guys want to do? What's the story you want to tell? And I had like a little pitch to them. And they then a hand went up. My lead for the film, he goes, oh, he says, one of us goes missing. And I was like, whoa. And then I taught them how to add to each other's ideas and how to respect each other, and not, just shoot down, no, we're not going to do that. So what happened was one of us goes missing, one kid, and then, oh, a Sasquatch takes him. And they were like, yeah. And then we got to go find him. And then, yeah, we find out the Sasquatch takes them to the spirit world. And they were like, yeah. And then I was like, holy cow, you're talking about missing children. And then now we're going into folklore. I was terrified, but I got the breakdowns done. And now I got 2 other buddies one guy that really good friend of mine, he's been writing his own Sasquatch thing, which is so strange how the universe does that. I was like, yeah, I was writing my own Sasquatch script. I was like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, do you want to just mix it in a bowl? I was like, yeah. So yeah, and it became this whole other thing. So that's where we're at right now. I mean, there's an urgency in my heart and soul to help these kids tell their story that they were excited about, and also kind of collaborate with Michael, um, producer wise, and then for me as a director. And I might be in the movie as well. I might I might sit on the bench until maybe there's a role that needs to be filled, because this last one I was the chief, and we couldn't get a chief, so I was like, well, okay. So I hopped in, I I directed myself. It was so funny because I was like looking at the footage, and I was like, it's such a different thing, because okay, I need to smooth over this line, and then maybe up the pace a
Oh
little
my
bit
God,
more,
you have to be
and then
comfortable with looking at yourself. Did that make you more acceptable, more better at looking at your own work because of that experience?
yeah, it was more because I mean, looking at my own work, you can't be so critical. There has to be
Mm,
more acceptance. Being that you can't have this, I look, or my voice sounds like that. It's like, no, I start looking at the emotional beats and where the soul is.
mm.
And then also, and a few technical things about if I read a thing, and then I do this, it's like, okay, I said that needs to be smoothed out. And um and then I let the dialogue kind of slow down, and then the volume kind of speak for itself, and then becomes this other thing, and and then I watch it, and then okay, that's kind of in the bread. And yeah, that was yeah, I remember that was a Saturday. That was right in the morning, and we got into the evening, filming myself,
Mm.
and and it wasn't just I mean, as a director, for myself, speaking for myself only, I mean, I can't go for perfection. All
Mm.
I can go is for to have this message get across to the kids, because in the scene they were fighting each other over over one of them speak the language. I mean, half of them can speak the language, and the other half doesn't. And so the ones that do make fun of the ones that don't.
Mm.
And so they all started fighting in the classroom.
Yeah.
And and that's so funny. It wasn't even my idea. I on my spare time I game out, and the reason why I game out is because you can get in a party, and then you can talk to anyone. It's like a phone call for me.
Yeah.
So people, friends that I went to high school with, cousins, family, I game out, and we just kind of go over the day. And then I had that quandary, like, I don't know what these kids are going to fight about. And then my buddy I was playing with is like, oh, half of them speak the language, and the other ones don't. And the ones that do make fun, one don't. It's like, hey, there's a guy over there. I was like, okay, yeah, that's it. And it's so funny. He just snapped out. I was like, you want to help me write this? And he helped me write it. Like, I got a buddy of mine from high school to help me write it.
Wow.
And yeah, it's so funny. And then now a third friend of mine is going to come. So right now I'm in the process of assembling just really good buddies of mine. So we just have fun making movies. I don't want it to be this really stressful thing. I want us to have fun while we're doing it too. And that's the other thing with kids. With the kids working, I was like, this is fun. That's like, I remember, this is fun. I really want you to have fun this one. It's like, we're having fun. It's not this big stressful thing that we make in our head. And I also went with the kids. Before we even started first shooting, I was like, okay, kids, we're all scared in this room, right? And they're like, yeah. And I told them, I'm scared too. I'm directing you. And and I'll tell you what I do. Like, I get scared every time. I'm letting you know that right now. I'm not brave. I mean, like, I'm brave because I always do it when I'm scared. And I taught them, you just let fear have its dance. You just let fear have its dance. You
Mm.
just breathe. Yeah, breathe a lot. And this is fun. And then again, you might and this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna shoot my scenes because I'm playing the chief. We're gonna shoot my scenes first. And you're gonna watch me. I promise you tomorrow, I will mess up. And I told him, just watch what happens when I mess up. And so I did the scene, and I remember I did mess up. I knew I was gonna forget because it was like this a whole bunch of dialogue,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
and it's easy to get hard on myself, but I don't do that. So when I forgot a line, I would just pick it up, and then they were they were watching me. And then I got through the scene. I got through all the dialogue. I swam through it. It was just, yeah, it became a breeze after a while. And then the next day, actually, we wrapped, and I was like, okay, did you guys see me mess up? They were like, yeah. I'm like, what happened? Like, you just kept going. And I was like, yeah. Did you see me get mad at myself? I was like, no, you didn't. You just kept going. It's like, did you see me apologize? And they're like, no, you just literally, you kept doing it. And did you see me have fun? They were like, yeah, you were having fun doing it. You were messing up. And I was like, yeah, that's what this is. So they were like, you guys ready to go now? They're like, yeah. You guys ready to do your scenes now? They're like, yeah, you just saw me how I do it. And that's the way I wanted to teach. I didn't want to make it a classroom thing. I thought, I'm not your teacher. I was like, I'm a director. I'm a director, writer, producer, actor. And this isn't the classroom. This is a set. And you're not acting students, you're actors today. You're actors right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like you're storytellers right now. And we're just here having fun. And look, I'm not grading you or anything. I mean, the teacher is here because it's part of her curriculum to have me here. Yeah, she's the one grading you, but I'm here to make sure we have fun doing this. And so that's like, so going in with your question at the start, that's where this is headed, these kids.
Mm.
So I am force multiplying what I know and hear. Being on set, as I always tell them, well, this is on this set, this is what we did. So I had so much fun doing that I told these kids like how was like I'm in it for life. I'm ready to do it. I mean, let's just keep making movies and keep, you know, there's grants, there's all kinds of grants out there, and Michael knows how to get them. So we're gonna help tell these stories. You want to, if you kids want to talk about missing children, missing Native children, let's do that. I
Mm.
mean, if that's what's in your heart, let's talk about what's in your heart. And yeah, that's Nathan, that's where this is headed. This is these kids. And it's somewhere really strong and really soulful. And I cannot believe I get to be a witness to it because these kids are tomorrow. Like I just witnessed like the lead actor. I just witnessed a little writer's room when they were like, yeah, we're gonna go missing or and then I wrote 16 breakdowns for each of them, their characters. Some of them just want small roles,
Yeah.
and some of them are ready to be the leads. And I'm teaching them how to approach a lead and how to be respectful. And I always emphasize, you know, respect your fellow artists and everything. And um, and also the shy kids are acting, which is something I was insane. I'm still very proud of it. So yeah, that's where that is. Like that's where that's headed. Like I can talk about it for like a long time. It's I'm in the middle of an amazing experience of doing that.
Yeah. Can hear that. What you reminded me of how amazing it is to be a creative and how making movies, making art, making acting, doing all of this is such a privilege. Some people they give up on that. It's stupid, but some people they see this as an amusement and they go on to do jobs that bore them. And we get to do that. We get to have fun for a living or try to do that for a living, and this is so amazing. And you
Yes,
just,
sir.
I mean, you just reminded me of that because I'm a writer too, and my gosh, the feeling I have when you described it, I feel it every day when I'm on stage, man. Like it's
Yes, sir.
scary, it's scary. You mess up, and there's something that you said that really hit hard for me was you said I cannot, some I'm paraphrasing, but I cannot be mad at myself for when I make a mistake. You know, you are in front of these young people, and this is so hard for an actor to do that, to just forgive yourself when you do something, bad, when you mess up. And I was wondering, when did you develop that? Was it, did you, were you always like that, or was there a moment where you were like, I need to be like this?
Oh, um, it's such a funny experience because I told you I was a gamer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
There's a point when you're a gamer that when you shoot and you get killed, you have this big reaction, like,
Yeah.
oh my God. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I, I, every time I messed up in a thing, I was like, okay. And then I heard on another movie, I can't remember what it's called. I heard Paul Giamatti say it in a movie. He said it's been scientifically proven that your IQ lowers every time you get angry.
Okay.
So your IQ goes down, which is why we make bad decisions when we're angry. So I've trained myself to have, when a thing doesn't go its way or it doesn't, it's a practice. It's a definite practice. Like, we're wired to almost have these big reactions or apologize or something. And there was a moment, and I learned that when you're on these big sets, like I am right now, that I'm not allowed to talk about,
Yeah.
when you're on these big sets, um, there's no time for apologies. There's no time for oh, I messed up that line. I'm sorry, I didn't do this. Once I hear action, I'm in it, and then I'm this guy. I'm this person. I no matter what, until I hear cut, or until I cut, from directing, then I'll say cut. Um, so it's a definite practice not to have these big reactions to messing up.
Mm.
So not to apologize so much when and then there's like a forgiveness that occurs. And then that's the thing. You kind of going back to being a kid. When you have fun learning about a game of soccer or something, and then you kick the ball funny, and then the ball goes funny, and then we all laugh. Or wherever one when I'm playing golf, when I first learned to hit golf, and then the ball went off to the side, and everyone just has a good laugh. That's where it lives.
Mm.
That's where it's supposed to live, especially in art. There's a militant attitude that I used to have towards acting, where everything down to the syllable and this and that. And then I tried it that way. But so I kind of mix the militant with the fun.
Mm.
So I'm very disciplined in my prep, but on the day of when we're filming, so speaking for my own work, when I'm filming, I I toss out all that prep, because I don't know what the other person, my scene partner, is going to do. I don't know if it's going to rain. I don't know if anything. So I let my gut, my soul, and everything guide from there on. And then I'll go in a direction, and then I'll hear cut, and then I'll hear continuity. Oh, you missed this line right here. I was like, okay, copy that. And then we do it again. I throw the line in, and then I hear moving on.
Mm.
And then that's the other thing is I don't react big to the messing up part when I do, because I put it all in my prep, and I I don't look for that pat on the back after I do get seen anymore.
Mm.
That if I hear moving on, that means that to me is a pat on the back.
Mm.
Like for me, I've developed myself pretty well where I can get the scene that the director's looking for in about 2 or 3 shots.
Wow.
And
Okay.
if he wants it, yeah, a really low shot ratio. And I pride myself on that. And if we have to keep going again, I'll just keep going again. And the thing I teach my kids is, when do we stop exploring a character? I'll tell them that, and then they'll all go, never. It's like, we never stop exploring. I continue exploring the character, the text, everything. Even if the cameras are rolling, I'll explore. I don't have this, you know how we're wired to hand in our homework?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, I don't have this done homework. This is how I practiced it. This is what I'm gonna perform. No, the camera loves because I'm finding things. My eye is finding things. I'm constantly exploring. I'm like on my prep, I'm going through the verbs in the text of everything of a line. So if I'm a detective and then I'm just asking the perp, what kind of work do you do? And then that to me, that's deduce. Or where were you last night? And then but if I sympathize and deduce, so where were you last night? And see, that becomes that.
Mm,
Or if I press and deduce, where were you last night? And then see, it becomes, yeah, and then if you think about all the verbs that there are,
mm,
it's an infinite freaking amount of possibilities that the scene could go.
yeah.
And then if the guy is crying or something, then I got to sympathizing. I'm sympathizing and deducing. So where was your wife last night? And then, and it becomes that. And or it's a little softer. And again, I'm having fun. And then when I hear the big thing is what we're wired for is when the director has notes, and you're like, oh my god, my my like, oh my god, like the director has notes of what I created. Like for me, when I get notes, um, let's say it'll be it's like, hey, William, can you have a little bit more? Can you have the pace on that and on that one line and have a little bit heavier beat?
Mm,
And cut that other beat in half on this thing. And all I will say is yes, sir, or ma'am. Yes, ma'am, or sir. So I can do. And then we'll do it. And then when I do what they ask, I never really get a great job. You really cut that beat in half. All I get is, all right, moving on. And then I
mm,
was like, okay, good, that scene's done. And then after that, this goes back to another flash. I'm going into a flashback now. I remember telling my mom, I was watching TV. Mom was doing dishes, and there was a werewolf on the screen. And I told my mom, "Hey, mom, I'm going to play a werewolf one day." And she stops doing dishes, and she says, "Son, I accept you as a werewolf, but when you're done, I want my son back."
mm.
So, so I always remember that. So every time I'm done a role, deducing a murder or I'm beating a guy up in this film,
Mm.
that guy stays there. So it's a definite work. It's a also, because the things these guys go through in their head, like I always just keep it there. I'm not one of these actors or the
Method,
character follows you around. Like I
yeah,
don't do
method
that. I
acting. You
just
don't do that. You don't do
no.
method acting at all.
Um I leave it there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, if I do it, I'll leave it there.
Okay.
And I will be the guy between after cut just to stay there, and then you'll be directing the character. You'll see him, and then he'll just look at you like this. Yeah, you can do that. And then and they're very and they know not to take it personal. It's like, oh, that's I'm talking to the character here.
Mm,
Like that's when it's really emotionally heavy. I'm like, yeah, I stay there just so I don't have to work to get back there again.
mm.
And then when I'm done, I leave it there. And thank you. I'll see a tomorrow character, that person, and then I work to be this guy who you're seeing right now. This is me. This is who I am. Because it's a huge, like, just to stay mentally healthy throughout the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
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 So
That's
that's
super important as an actor. My first year teacher, acting teacher, told me one day, I want you to leave acting school and be happy actors. Because the thing is, sometimes you're going to portray murderers, killers, victims, and emotionally, if you play by if you use certain techniques, you can be it can be damaging, and you don't and that removes the fun of acting. And it's not, she said, for me it's not acting in and out of itself. And that stayed with me because I love acting, even murderers and deep, absolutely violent characters. But and that separation I put between me and the character after I'm finished is so important, because it's what helps me when I'm going back into it. I can, that separation helps me see that, oh, there's another way. I could have done something. I could have done it a different way. I carry that energy, that creative energy, that I use for that character somewhere else. And for me, it's super important. And you have such an healthy relationship with acting and being a creative. Just by hearing you, I'm like, wow, I really want to be you, honestly. And I was looking at your career, and for how long you've been acting, and I've seen that you've done a lot of roles, small roles, little appearances, and within 2 years, three projects that are for me like incredible have been released, in which you start in, which is Frontier, Diablo, and Blackway. And in Blackway, you got to act opposite to Anthony Hopkins, which is so incredible. Do you remember that day? Did you black out? How was it for you?
That day, I looked at, when you look at the call sheet,
Yeah.
it said Anthony Hopkins, and then you went down there, it said William Belleau. And the other crazy thing is that was in my home province,
Oh.
Vernon. Yeah, and I'm from British Columbia, and I had to drive over to Vernon. I had to drive past Kamloops, which is where we go to powwow. And I remember that morning, I had to be there at 6, and it was still dark. And I went to hair and makeup, and my first encounter, it was just like a movie. I saw this man in white hair sitting at the makeup chair, and this important looking lady kind of discussing a thing with him. And then I got pulled away with oh, this is William, this is the hair makeup person. They were like, they looked at me, and I was kind of disheveled because I just woke up, and they're like, yeah, you look good. They like literally like, yeah, you look good. That I don't get that a lot, Nathan. It's like, okay. So I looked and I saw, it was so crazy. I did not see the man's face. And yeah, I left that hair and makeup trailer, and I was like, that was, I know that was him. That was yeah, that's him. I knew that was him. So I only got 2 hours of sleep. Because when you see Anthony Hopkins' name on the call sheet, like my heart was just boom, boom. I was like, it's like, please just sleep, sleep. I know this is an amazing. This is just sleep. You need sleep. And I kept on looking at the alarm, and then an hour passed, and then next thing I know, it's like, I remember it was like 3:30 a.m. and I still wasn't asleep. I was like, I need to sleep because I don't know, the adrenaline just pumps. Because the first time you work with, that was the actually you're talking about the first time, my first Oscar winner and my first really big actor. That was Anthony Hopkins.
Mm.
And and oh, actually that September was Danny Glover.
Oh.
Because that November was Anthony Hopkins. Yeah, that was a big 2 months for me.
Wow.
Um, yeah, Danny Glover. Okay, I'll get to the Anthony Hopkins, but it ties in. So I'll talk to you about
No,
Danny
no,
Glover
you
first.
can talk to me about everything you want. I mean, you have, this is amazing.
Yeah, and you know what? We're completely free to talk about these. I can't talk about where I am right now,
Yeah, yeah.
but we can talk about it. We can flash back to all of this other stuff, and then okay. So I'm doing this movie called Diablo, the one where we talked about a spiritual protocol. This is
Yeah.
that movie.
With
So I land in
Clint Eastwood's son, Scott Eastwood.
yes, sir. That's the one, and um, and I land in Calgary. So and when you land you have to do well, you know, you have to do like a hair and makeup test, do the fitting for the wardrobe and all of that. It's so great. I love that you're an actor. I don't have to explain stuff. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, we're gonna do this a lot, Nathan. So, and and I was like, okay. So I got the set, tried the wardrobe on, everything fit. They loved the hair because the hair is like this long, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, and they just loved it. And then they were like, "Oh, Danny's working. Do you want to go to set?" And I was like, "I was like, yeah, I'll go." You know, I felt like a kid. I was like, "Yeah, I'll go to set." So I got on the van, and then I still had my bags packed. So they threw my bags in the van. So I was literally fresh off the airplane, and then I was literally in Vancouver that morning, and then here I am in Calgary, driving over, and then I get the set and there's Danny. He's on his knees saying a prayer, and there's Walton Goggins Jr. pointing his gun at him. And then this big epic scene. And I remember I heard cut and they had to do another setup. And they finished that close up and everything. So they were going to do another setup. So I knew. And then Danny had to sit down on these steps on a cabin to kind of rest his knees. So I was like, it's like, I'll just go talk to him. So I was like, no, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I was like, why not? Right? That's
Yeah.
Danny Glover right there. And he was sitting there by himself. And I was like, hi, I'm William. And he has this, hi, how are you? I was like, I was like, he had the voice. I was like, oh my God. And he's like, what nation are you? And I was like, holy cow. If you know, that's exactly how you talk to a native. You ask them if you ask them what nation they are. That's completely acceptable on asking what kind of native guy is a native guy. And Danny knew, he was like, what nation are you? And I was like, Shuswap. And he was like, it was so crazy to hear Danny say Shuswap, to hear him say my tribe in the Danny Glover voice. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. And then next thing you know, we're talking about him living on a farm, how he was raised and everything. And then you got the 5 minute warning. It's like 5 minutes, Danny. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, hey, Danny, can I see one question or a piece of advice? And he goes, yeah. And I asked him, I'm doing a squib tomorrow. Oh yeah, Nathan, I got the email saying we're gonna do a squib. And you know what a squib is, right? A squib is like when you shoot, when a guy gets shot, but they have like a charge underneath the clothes and then
Yeah.
blood comes out. So that's called a squib. That's what the special effects guys work with.
Okay.
They told me that they were gonna do a squib, and they said we only have one of these shirts, one of these jackets, buckskins. We only have one, so we can only do one of these. And I was like, okay. And Nathan, this was my first squib. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
my.
like, oh my God, okay, yeah, this is my first squib. And then so there's Danny. Danny's probably done like years of squibs.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I was like, can I ask you for one piece? I was like, yeah. Um, I'm gonna do my first squib tomorrow, and I'm feeling pretty nervous about it. And I was wondering if there's any advice that you have. And he goes, and he smiles. And he goes, yeah, breathe, breathe, be in a moment. You'll be all right. And then it was so mysterious because then he went off, walked off the set, and I was like, all right, thank you.
This is
And
exactly
then
what I would imagine Danny Glover said.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it was so. And I'm left there. And then they were like, William, do you want to go back to the hotel? And I was like, yeah, yeah, I don't want to bother Danny anymore. So Danny, and then I found out that Danny finished that scene, and then he flew to New York that evening. So that was my 15 minutes with Danny Glover.
Wow.
If I got shy, I wouldn't have had that. So fast forward to Anthony Hopkins. I'm like scared. I was like, okay, breathe, be in the moment. I'm gonna be all right. I just have to breathe because this is Anthony Hopkins, and it was like Danny was just introduced me to how to work with these guys. So I breathed. I was like, okay, I'm breathing, relaxed a little more. And oh, actually, this is the origin of how I was not so hard on myself. I
Mm.
was like, I started breathing, and then I started thinking, it's like, well, I'm playing a logger, and then I started thinking about my uncles, and then as I was breathing, I was thinking, I was like, my uncles, they all they all chew Copenhagen. It's like this chip. They call it
Yeah.
dip. Put it in their lip, and then yeah, I was thinking about that, and then I was on set, and then this truck pulls up, and then Anthony Hopkins gets out of the truck, and he says, "Which one of you is William?" It's like I thought I was gonna wake up, and I was like, "I'm William Sir," and he's like, "Hello, I'm Tony." He goes by Tony, and
Wow.
yeah, he goes by Tony, and I'm sitting there talking to him. And so I was like, how do you like, this is my home province. How do you like being in BC? And he's like, I love it. It's beautiful. And this is my fourth time to Canada. And I was like, okay, the Edge. He's like, yeah. And I was like, Legends of the Fall. And he's like, yep. And I don't know what that third one is. And he's like, that was in Montreal. Um, not one of the Hannibal movies. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I didn't know that was in Montreal. He's like, I've never been. And he's like, no, it's a beautiful city. You should go. And I was like, it's very, it's, and then, dude, next thing I know, I'm talking to Anthony Hopkins. This is my life now. I'm like literally talking to Anthony Hopkins there. And, and then so we're about to do the scene. And then I'm thinking that makes me like, when I'm around an energy like that, that kind of, he had this calm about him. So I got calmer. I was breathing. And then I went to the props guy and was like, hey, I need a can of Copenhagen. And this is the first time I started taking my own liberties. It's like, I need a can of Copenhagen. He's like, I'll see if I could find one. He's like, please. And then the props guy comes with a can of Copenhagen. And so I have this big 3 pincher, and it starts to form the way the guy talks, kind of holding spit in.
Mm.
What's that you got there? And then and then on action, we did the scene. And the line is, what's that you got there? And then Tony says, curtain rods. And then my line's bullshit curtain rods. So on action, he's like, good morning. I was like, oh, what's that you got there? And he goes, curtain rods. And I can see it's a double barrel shotgun wrapped up in burlap. And so I already knew. So I wasn't gonna pretend. I went, and the line was bullshit curtain rods, which is perfect. And so I had this spit built up, and he goes curtain rods, and I had this big spit right at his feet. And I go, bullshit curtain rods, and I look right at him. He looks at me. He kind of forgot his line, but then he went into it, and then and then we kind of finished the scene, and then he goes, and then we cut, and then Tony walks past me, and then goes to director. I think I'm in shit here. I'm in trouble. And then he says to the director, Danny Alfredson. Danny Alfredson was the director. He says, I'm gonna put a line in the, because he's Anthony Hopkins. He can just say, yeah, I'm gonna put a line in. And he goes, uh, he says, do that thing again. And I was like, what, the bullshit thing, do that thing again. So I did that same spit bullshit curtain rods. And then he points the shotgun at me. He was like, you never know, will you? And then that went into the trailer. If you look at the trailer, he says, well, you never know, will you? And I was like, oh my God, I got him to do that. I felt like I landed a punch on Ali. I felt like, I, everything. I just felt like, I was sparring with one of the greats, here.
Yeah.
And I've
You
also
made
read that
Anthony
being
Hopkins forget a line. This is, you know how incredible this is. This guy reads the script 100 times for real, and that's one of the ways he memorizes lines, and he's so good. He, you, wow. I mean, you did something so incredible. You created such a real interaction. You made him forget about his line. This is amazing, man.
and he says to me, I really like this scene. And he looks me dead in the eye. He says, good work. And I was like, dude, that goes in my head. When Anthony Hopkins looks you in the eye with those eyes and he says, good work. And I was like, wow. And so that I was it's like when I think about it, it makes me feel good and humbled at the same time. Like it's that's the other thing. You lose yourself like getting complimented by, so I'm working very hard on keeping my feet on the ground.
Mm,
Every time I do an amazing thing like that, I'm like, okay, what did I learn and how did I grow from it? And even what can I do the next time? But that was one of my first scenes. I was like, there's nothing I could have did better than that.
mm,
There was no what am I doing next time? I was like, this is it. This is the time now. So there is no what I can do. Like there is like that scene was I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with how we worked on that scene and I got a hug from the man. Like it's like, okay, I gotta go do another set and everything. It's like I gotta hug you. And he hugged me and he went, he did that thing, he went, and then dude, that just filled me right up. I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, that was so crazy. Danny Glover's advice, breathe. And I was just breathing. And then when you're looking dead in the eye with Anthony Hopkins, and every like when you get to work beside these icons that we have in our heads,
mm.
you have to allow in that I belong here. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I know. I was on a set
I
once, and I saw French actor. I had watched my entire life on TV, and it was so. It's weird because your eye gets distracted by it. It's like it's almost like it's surreal, but you gotta stay in the moment. And you, like you said, you gotta breathe and stay in the moment. And I did my job, and I had a small like I didn't even have a line. I was just actually I was an extra, but I did what I came here to do, and it was this whole experience that you described is just amazing, and to get this is why I asked that question, is because you at that point in time you had been working for like 10 years, right, in the industry, right? It was like 10 years, right? And it's just all this work that you did. You could have never, I think you could have never imagined that one day you would share a scene with Anthony Hopkins like this, and you could surprise him like you did, and that he would say good job. And this is why I like acting and learning about actors and talking to you actors, is because these little moments are amazing, and they feed me like this is amazing. And you also worked on Frontier, right? You had a recurring role on Frontier, and you work opposite to Jason Momoa, who is an imposing man. Like he's like what, 6'3", 6'5". How was that?
yeah yeah he was a big guy. He was a really this big friendly brotherly force that I can describe him as. And yeah, it's funny. I Frontier is when I started kind of sink into all of it, where I'm one of the guys too. You know, there's a there's a transformation that occurs when you go from being fan in the stands to player on the field.
Mhm.
Like we grow up as kids being fans on the stands, saying, "Oh, I want to be like that player on the field." And then there's a huge journey that happens from the stands to the field. And then by the time I got the Frontier, I was setting up plays and I was doing everything on the field. I was going to practices and everything. I was focused on that. So I accept myself as a player on the field. And then when I went Jason Momoa, yeah, it was like meeting another player on the team. And then he was he's the captain.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I see it in hockey, and I had one of my earlier projects before that, one guy asked me, he kind of said it a little, there was a little hostility there.
Mm.
He says, "Oh, you're the captain," like that. That didn't feel,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
you're the captain, because I was the lead of the small thing. And then without missing a beat, I was like, "Yeah, I'm the captain." It's like, but like every captain, I can't get a decent shot without my wingers. So and it's like he kind of smiled at me like that. I was like, it's like a captain in the hockey, he can't get a shot without his wingers cycling the puck, or without a pass or anything.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like being a player on the ice, where I'm always like, each project to me is like having a different role on the team. And then as long as I can read it and see what my role is, and that one, I was a winger to Jason Momoa. So when I had like a scene where, like, the big scene was when we had this big conflict and he hits
Yeah.
me in the face.
He had
And
you and you're like, you go, I'm taking my.
yeah, yeah, that was my job, to get in his face.
Mm.
And so for me, when I work, the other guy's line is actually more important than my own, or what he does next is more important than my own. And I always hold my lines and everything kind of tertiary and secondary, because my new focus, like even when I worked with Tony, it's so funny. It's like Tony doesn't need it, but I wanted him to do better than me.
Mm.
And so I'm always working. And it wasn't for me to outshine Tony. It was for me, that spit was for him to do better than me, to push him, and I think he liked that. And and being an actor is not about being a gentleman either. Because like when I'm these characters that are in your face, that are strong. And I also have my own internal strength as well. I I know who I am. I knew for me, who my Shuswap warriors were, because of my dad. He tells me stories of our Shuswap warriors.
Mm.
And I know who my ancestors were. And as long as you can go back far enough, I don't have to show that I'm a Hudson Bay warrior. I don't have to show that I'm a badass, because that's already in my blood. Like the blood comes out. Like I don't need to show it. So when I'm this guy with this musket, that's me. That's me honoring my warriors of past.
Mm.
So that's so I don't have to make a frowny face to try to look mad. But because there's a way to try to make a frowny face to look mean, but if you're actually that, you don't need to show it.
Yeah.
Like the camera would just know, like, whoa, this guy is the real deal. And so I'm always holding my so because I get called in for the tough guys, which I like. It's fun. Um, and that comes from Nathan. It comes from my days of when I thought I was a failure, because there were years there that I wasn't working, I wasn't filming,
Yeah.
and so I had to work. I had to work on construction sets or construction sites,
Mm.
and I got to the point where I became a foreman. So I was in charge of guys,
Yeah.
and I also had three guys got hurt. And then what happens when you're in charge of guys and they get hurt? Um, a personal accountability occurs. And then when I'm playing the guy like Demonch and Frontier, I know exactly what it's like when we lose a guy. or when a guy gets hurt and he doesn't need to. And then I look at Jay, and then he made the call, and then I don't have to act. It's you're the reason why, and then I'm able to push that and justify my side,
Mm.
on what you did here. You made a call and we lost one of our guys, and you're making another call, and it becomes that, because I know what it's like for guys to actually get hurt. Like, I know what the one guy fell 10 feet on his head,
Oh, damn.
and then I had to do a C-spine on him. And I remember his blood was draining out of his head, and it felt like tea. It felt like tea being poured into my palm. And then he asked what happened every 2 minutes. And I was like, hey man, you fell. And he was like, I fell? And he's like, yeah, just stay still. It's like, it feels like there's a golf ball in my back. It's like, okay, just stay still. Because when you're doing a C-spine, the guy can cripple himself if he does something wrong with his back. And and then he asked what happened. What happened? I was like, you fell. I told him what happened like about, I don't know how many times, until I heard sirens pull up. And when you I thought I was like failing as an actor, but when I actually know what the blood feels like in the palm of my hand, and then I know what it's like to take preventative measures, and then those measures aren't taken, it's really easy for me to get in Jay's face, for him to headbutt me, and then just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm taking the men with me. And again, if you watch that, I'm taking the men with me. That's kind of where my journey went, of wearing the steel toes and hard hat and everything, because I got really good. Like, I got really because when I got really good, because when you're a concrete stripper, guys don't last. We had one guy quit on us in 30 minutes, and he was
Wow.
like a whole head taller than me. And it takes a special person to really gut it out and really pack all that 4x6 and plywood and scaffolding and everything. It takes a special mental toughness to occur, and also burn in the sun or soak in the Vancouver rain, the rain where you can see your breath. I mean, and then yeah, I know what it's like to be mentally tough.
Mm.
So when I get called out for these roles, the challenge for me is to do less. So for me, if I was gonna talk to another actor, I just keep working on your personal development, and then when you have to play a tough person, you won't have to reach too far, because you'll already be there.
Yeah.
So when I'm working with Jay, yeah, Jay showed me some cool workout techniques and everything he did for the Conan. Like, it was crazy. Like, I was in the gym, and then Jay's there, he's working out, and Jason Momoa's there, he's working out, and I'm like, yeah, this is. I don't know. It's just like these chapters in my life that occur like that. It's like I'm in the gym working with Jason Momoa, and
Yeah.
he kind of gives me a tip that he did with Conan, and I was like, holy cow! And I started doing. He calls it these. You crouch all the way down, and then you have this any kind of weight, and you just maintain that. See if you can do that for a minute. And I tried doing that, and I was like, holy crap. And he's like, Zeke, it's tough, right? And I was like, yeah. That was like one of his workouts. So it's like, even if you just have a regular stick or a
Yeah.
broom, and then crouch all the way down. And yeah, so I started kind of doing that. And yeah, I've been picking up and growing from each experience. So
Mm.
Anthony Hopkins taught me or Danny Glover taught me I need to breathe, be in the moment, I'll be all right. And then Anthony Hopkins um, kind of taught me that I do belong here, and I do I do good work. When you hear it from that man, it's like a big deal. It's and then yeah, it was Jay. It was it was
How to lead, how to be a captain, right?
yeah, how to be a captain, and also how to how to let the stunt man work. He's like, yeah, you kind of told me, he's like, if you it's like, let the stunt man do it if he can. It's like, because your body, you need your body for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
He says, there's some times I wish I let a stunt man do it. And I was like, okay. He's like, but there's like, when you're young, you want to do it all and everything. But yeah, he was like, just that's what they're paid to do for. They'll you know, they'll do it. I was like, okay.
Mm.
So so I take that kind of safety and everything in the mind when I'm doing another thing. And yeah, that was that experience. It was crazy because he was filming Aquaman at the same time.
Oh my God. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So he came back one after Christmas, and he was just leaned right out. And I was like, holy shit. He's like, yeah, you're looking pretty lean. Like, he was just like, because he had to have the abs and everything. And yeah, he the amount of work that he puts in. I think he works out like right in the morning, then he works out again before he
Yeah.
goes to sleep. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm um like. I always, for myself, I always put in a little bit. I do two things for my goal every day, and
Mm.
that's kind of what I do. That's like, as long as you're doing two things for your goal and aiming to improve 1% every day. Like, I've been improving 1% every day since I got out of acting school. Oh
Mm.
wait, and if
That's
you
a
think about
nice.
how many years went by, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's a good advice to giving to young actors, even people like me. Do two things every day to further your goals. This is great. Yeah.
it's just, it's just, I know, and that's the other thing. Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
Like, anyone can do two things for their goal. And that's the other thing. I do play video games, but I don't do any of this watch Netflix or video game stuff until after I've done my two things.
Mm.
Like, I do two things. I'll read a book, or even if it's um if I'm speaking from the native side, there's we all have this medicine wheel, and there's spiritual, mental, physical, and I think it's intellectual. But as long as you're doing two things for one of those four every day, I think you're good. As long as you're reading, as long as you're working out, like, even calling home to mom and dad, that's a thing. That's a thing to kind of help support yourself, keep you mentally health. Calling mom and dad, calling your sister, saying, hey, how's it going?
Mm.
That is a thing. That helps that 1% get along. Like, just having these little conversations, because tomorrow is not guaranteed with people we love. It's just not. So that's kind of like, I'm never too busy whenever mom or dad call, or whenever I get a text from David or my brother. I'm always replying back, even though I'm in the middle of all of some really amazing things. I take time to enjoy the view on the climb. That's another practice, is just taking time to not just be constantly climbing, but
Yeah.
just to kind of have a tea, and then just enjoy the view. And then call home and say, hey, how's everyone doing? And then just kind of let me know how you're doing. And that's a thing. And then also working out, reading.
Mm.
Each actor should have a bookshelf, like like you should have things you're reading. And there's a lot to read. Um, I read stuff on the Navy SEALs. I've read stuff on leadership. I've read things on acting. I've read, I've read this book.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. The
Yeah.
movie you're doing right now.
Yes, but I can't talk about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the I've no, it's a lot of reading, and there's a lot of working out,
Yeah.
and time with spiritual, whatever that means for you. There's time with that, time with family, time with, yeah. There's that's like the best advice I can give to an actor is like taking time to kind of make sure you're rounded out, and then emotional, spiritual, intellectual, physical, and that's a medicine wheel. And then it's easy to lose track
Yeah.
of one of those four. It's
Yeah.
really easy to lose track, but as long as you keep that rounded, you're pretty much solid. And also not being in such a rush to be like a big star,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
not to be in like, I noticed once I stopped being in such a rush, things just started clicking. Like it's not that I don't care, but
Yeah.
again, I'm just enjoying the view on the climb. Two things, and then and you know what? You're even gonna miss a day without two things. That's fine too. Like two things for me is just like this. And then I play Xbox, and then I get online with my brother. I get to hear my brother's voice, and I get to hear my cousin's voice, or I FaceTime with mom and dad at home, or my sister, and yeah, that's. Or I'll go home and I also hunt. I hunt and I fish, and I'm like a city country mouse, so I love getting home to kind of do all that kind of thing because it's important to get home, whatever you call home. To me, that's an important thing for me. Kind
Mhm.
of get home and recharge before I head out again. And there's always something for the goal, and you tell the universe, you state to the universe what exactly it is you want to do. And when you want to tell a story, I heard someone say this before. As long as it change, is it if it's going to change someone's life, if it's going to change another person's life, is it going to help another individual? Then yeah. And for me, directing kids definitely does that. It fulfills that, and it fulfills me to a place I had no idea that was going to occur. It feeds my soul, and it's so funny. Like I don't care about money anymore. That's the lawyer and the agent's job.
Mm.
Like I don't care about it anymore. And you know what's funny? I didn't care about it anymore, and then guess what? I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
I'm eating. That's all I'll just say. I'm eating.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like, and I've been there as low as I got. I'll share with you the most humbling breakfast that I've ever had as an actor. You should ask this in an interview. What's the most humble thing you ever ate? I'm asking, I'm interviewing myself. What's the most humbling thing you ate as an artist? And I'm going to share with you, Nathan. One morning, I remember there's only eggs in the fridge, and I was like, okay, there's just like two eggs. And then I looked around in the cupboards. All I could find was cooking oil. I was like, okay, cooking oil, and there's salt there, and I was like, okay. And then I found popcorn seeds, and I was like, well, that was it. So I made popcorn in the pot, and I was boiling eggs in the other pot. And that was my breakfast, was popcorn, eggs. Oh, I had butter too. And that
Yeah.
was my breakfast, man. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was
Yeah.
funny. My aunt came in just when I was halfway making it. I was almost done. I was shaking the pot for my popcorn and eggs. And she's like, I can't watch this. I gotta take you to go get some groceries. Yeah, that was the most humble I've ever been, man. Like for a breakfast, like that's all I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is humbling. Yeah. Eggs with popcorn. Wow. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I definitely asked the question. I definitely asked the question.
Yeah.
The Wow. You've been absolutely amazing. And this show is called Bible Talk, by the way. I didn't have the chance to say it because I was so into what you were saying, but you
Okay.
you basically did what I've always wanted to do with that show, which is let the actor talk. and you talked about so many things that personally inspire me. I know that I'll rewatch what we just said. It's just incredibly you just gave me an incredibly valuable discussion, and it was amazing, and honestly best moment of my day. Thank you for no, honestly, and I say that sometimes to during after interviews, but honestly, talking to you guys, I made that whole Babel talk thing because I wanted to understand what was the mindset of a working actor. How does a working actor think about? How does he vision his work and his art? And I keep getting surprised by how soulful each actor is, and how committed to the work you all are. And talking to you talk about the movie you're directing with these kids, and your past experiences, and literally talking about making making fried eggs with popcorn, and then being in that place of like I need money is so relatable, and thank you. You didn't have to share this, but it was amazing. And thank you for everything. And before we leave, I leave you. I wanted to. I know you can't talk about Claw of the Flower Moon. That's I'm not gonna ask anything about the movie, but I'm going to talk about the book and the overall like the thing of the book, and why it was so interesting to me that Martin Scorsese, your director, decided to adapt this book. This book is about a series of killings in a tribe that happened in the 60s, right? 50s, 60s. And this is so interesting to me because I've talked to actors who, unfortunately or fortunately, worked on movies from that are based on real events, and there's always a level of responsibility that comes with portraying these characters. And I was wondering, accepting the role, did you how did you approach the real aspect of what you were going to do? How did you approach that, now without telling anything about the movie, of course?
That's really tricky. Um, well, I'll just say I had access to the family members, and I just had I just had a lot of discussions with family members,
Yeah.
and that's as far as I can probably discuss that. I feel like I'm even saying too much.
No, no,
I mean,
you can say
you know what? I'm super happy to have this conversation in, let's say, a year and a half. Just
yeah, yeah.
like
I,
we'll stay in touch, and
I
I will tell
definitely,
you.
I definitely want to. They stay in touch with you. You're an amazing person, and like you said, you're talking to you have discussions with the people you've known about this role, and that is I see that this is a part of your process, talking to the people who are concerned, or people that could help you develop these characters. And I absolutely I love that about you. I love the fact that you reach out to people. It's something that it seems stupid, but reaching out when you're an artist um can be complicated for some of us. Me, I know that I struggle with opening up to people.
Oh, I will talk to you about that. I have a okay. We're in control of one thing as actors, and that's how we prepare.
Hmm.
And that's it. And that's one thing I learned when I was in acting school in New York. Is the only thing that we're in control of is how we prepare.
Hmm.
But as I was pondering on that, I evolved the notion into who helps me prepare.
Hmm.
So, be it a coach, be it a reader, or somebody. When I did the read for Frontier, I had a friend of mine help read for me, and then he also coached me as well. So we have this thing, whatever's in our heart, where I'm just gonna do it all on my own.
Hmm.
And it's yeah, the resolve is, yeah, it's admirable. But if you're going to do it all on your own, guess what? You're going up against an actor that's being coached,
Mm.
that's being he's got his own. It's like a boxer that doesn't go to the gym. It's like, I'm just gonna go on Raw. It's like you're going up against a boxer that's been in the gym. He's being coached. He's got nutrition. He's got a team around him, and he's accepting all of that. And he's very humble. And this thing where, you know, I'm just gonna prove, is like, no, it's, you don't need to prove anything. You all it is who's helping you prepare, and that's it. Like, who's helping you, and also the willingness to accept help is a huge thing. Is the willingness just to say, hey, I got a tape tomorrow, can you help me out, can you read for me? Yeah. And the way I use that is I say, hey, I have a tape due on, let's say it's what day is it today? It's Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's say, oh, well, I have a tape on Thursday. Can we tape? And you, and verbalizing the exact days. So if I have a tape, if I'm going to retape on, if I'm going to tape on Thursday, you just say, it's like, yeah, it's due Thursday. What are your availabilities? Do you have any availabilities? And then some people will say no, and that's fine. And you don't hold it against them. Like, you
Yeah.
just fine. People have other things. The thing for Frontier, when I read, that was the first time when I read for Frontier. I was reading, the character was opposite this priest, and I was thinking of taping just with my phone, and, you know, kind of doing this, and, you know, reading it to myself, and I was like, no, I was like, I know a guy that I worked with. Oh, the guy in Blackway, the other dude behind me.
Yeah.
I called him up. Yeah,
Oh.
that guy, yeah, that guy helped me read for Frontier. The other dude with me, he's like,
Yeah.
whoa, you know, yeah, the other guy. I was like, hey, do you want to play my priest? He's like, yeah. And he was, you just, the way you word it for you young actors, you just say, hey, I need your help with something. And people are always happy to help. It's like, I need your help with something. You're really good at reading. You're really good at this. And I told, it's like, I told the guy, hey, I need your help with a read. I need you to read for a priest for me. And he was like, yeah. Like, what time? I was like, about 2. He's like, you want to do it today? I was like, yeah, I guess let's do it today. He came over, and he helped read for the priest, and my other buddies helped coaching me. And yeah, that's, see, all you young actors trying to do it on your own. That's what you're going up against, is another actor that has that kind of team to help him. He's accepting help. So you're gonna, if you lose to a role, you probably lost to a guy that accepted a lot of help from someone.
Mm.
And, you know, it's easy to get, oh yeah, this is the other thing. It's easy to get lost in the envy of, it should be me. Why isn't this my role?
Mm.
I was so perfect for this. That, try congratulating. Like, try, it's like, dude, I heard you got that role. You did an awesome job. It was great. Like, I started congratulating my guys, my that are in my type age range and everything. I congratulate way more than having this, it should be me kind of, why isn't my, like, and then I watch him do like bareback horse riding and everything. Like, I couldn't have did that. Like, and and then it's so funny because I have a buddy of mine on this project. Like, we've been watching like, we worked once in 2008, and we haven't worked together since. And he was like, yeah, you approach things differently than I do, that I could never do. And I was like, yeah, but you're doing awesome work too. And what you wind up, he's like, I work on surrounding myself with people that, you know, we congratulate each other. Not everyone congratulate me, but he's like,
Mm.
you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing, and this is why. That's, if you practice that, all these little things of envy kind of go away. Should be me, everything. It should be me thing. Envy will never get an actor what he wants or anything. I also did the math. I also did the math on out of all the editions that I did, probably 400, 500 plus. My math might be off. but it came down to I I booked 16.6% of the roles I went for
Wow.
over since I started. 16.6 is the number. And it's funny, in school, guess what? That's a failure.
Mm,
But was Anthony Hopkins a failure? Was Danny Glover a failure?
yeah.
Was Jason Momoa a failure? Is what I'm doing right now a failure in that 16.6%?
Mm,
No, that 80, that 84%, that 84% of failure was actually 84% of growth of just what am I gonna do next time? How do I? A lot of 84%, I can tell you, young actors, was me doing it on my own. You can actually cut that 84% probably in half if you just get over this. I'm gonna do it all on my own. Like if you just accept help, get over yourself, and then just say, "Hey, I need help with this thing." People, you will be amazed that people are just they are so they're so warm in the way that you value them, their help, and it makes you feel good too. And then in the day when you're doing the scene, and then you get to call them, guess what? I got the role. And they're like, you did? And they're like, they helped you. That all of that is the amazing part of the experience that I don't think we talk about a lot. When the guy that helped you read was like, dude, that was, that was awesome.
yeah.
And you get to have this moment on the phone. It's yeah, like people that help you and then they hear about it. Yeah, I helped you do that. It's like that's an amazing feeling. It's like, yeah, you helped me. We helped each other and everything. And
Yeah.
that's part of it. It's the 16.6% success is actually that 84% of just growing and failing and everything. And if you're in the middle of that 84%, guess what? You're gonna be eating eggs and popcorn for breakfast. You're gonna be on a construction site, burning in the sun or soaking in the rain. You're going to be doing a lot of other stuff besides acting, but there is growth there. I promise you. If you allow growth in instead of this this unforgiving kind of self-deprecation. I'm not acting. I'm not doing this and that. And I wish I could tell that guy, you're growing, man.
Mm,
It's like this is all necessary part of your journey. You're on your path to not just being an actor, but being a storyteller as well.
mm.
So we're actually storytellers, not just actors. We're helping to tell a story. So yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know where I came from that, but what you were you
Yeah.
talking about made me think about the 16.6%. That's the number that was the last thing I calculated the last time. It might be different, but roughly.